Caroline actually accused me of destroying her marriage.
What?
Years back. It was 12 years ago.
I remember that.
That was when we were friends. If you accuse me of ruining your marriage and we are over it, so now it's been 12 years, Auntie, for me, 12 years.
Yes.
It's been 12 years. Why bring that conversation to that gathering again, and you are telling your friends and your friends are telling my friends till it got to my ear?
Right from day one, she threw me under the bus. From episode 1, this girl went to say I told her something.
And I was dragging
and you call yourself my friend. Really? And you want me to look out for you. And I've always looked out for her.
You can't continuously disrespect me publicly and you expect me to
publicly support you. Are you okay? Are you out of your mind? She's saying her sister, when her sister had problems with me, she stood by me. Did I beg you? Your sister wrote nasty shit about me and my kids every time on her dirty blog. And I still chose to be your friend against everybody's wish, telling me, and I keep telling people, Laura is not Linda. So if I choose to be your friend, you need to fully respect that. Don't disrespect me.
See, forget this act that Laura is putting up on the show. Laura is another person entirely apart from the show. I can assure you that. Maybe she just wants to be trending. She wants to be the eye for the show.
Woo. Okay. This past weekend has been really entertaining, interesting. I mean, guys, a lot of action from Twitter, yes, and not just on Twitter. I'm referring to the drama, the Twitter war that ensued between Caroline and Toyin of the Real Housewives of Lagos. Guys, it did not stop there. Toyin had her own interview, to explain her own side of her beef with Caroline. Guys, it was a very interesting interview, and once again, thanks to all of you that actually sent me that link, that sent me that interview, because I think it actually happened as at the same time that we were having our FSWG Saturday YouTube live stream, which was also simply fantastic. I had so much fun for almost 4 hours. We were here having conversations about the Real Housewives of Lagos, dissecting, analyzing with facts, yes, factual, accurate, detailed information. Guys, I cannot appreciate all of you enough for turning up on Saturday. Thank you all so much for giving that much of your time, yes, to FSWG. That's Frankly Speaking with Glory, Elijah, and what else? You know what, guys? There's a lot of revelations that came with Toyin's interview, and I felt like it was more like a clap back to Caroline's interview, because there were certain questions that she was asked, and she had used that platform, that opportunity, to counter some of the things that Caroline had actually posited during our own interview of last week. So we're just going to jump into the video now as I unpack all the juicy tea of that interview, of Toyin's revelations. Guys, there was a lot that she actually dropped. Not just that, if you missed out on our FSWG Saturday YouTube live stream, don't worry, the live stream is right there. It's present on my channel. All right, so just go ahead and please watch it. And if you have anything to contribute, if you have anything you do not agree with, don't worry, the comment section is open. You can just go ahead and share your thoughts, share your perspective about the show. And what else? Yes, my review, my analysis on the episode 8 of the Real Housewives of Lagos is also on my channel. So please ensure to also watch that video if you missed out on that. One last thing, guys, let me officially welcome all of you back to my YouTube channel. You're welcome back. My name is Glory Elijah. This is Frankly Speaking with Glory. I am the girl with the tea, and the tea of this video is all that I just spilled. So if you really want to get into all that juicy detail, just ensure you watch to the end of this video. If this is your first time coming across my videos, thank you so much for clicking to watch. But please ensure to hit the red subscribe button to become a part of this family. If you always want to receive a lot of my videos like this, just turn on your post notification bell. That way, whenever I upload a new video, you will be the first to receive a lot of my videos. So first things first, that interview, yes, Toyin's interview, was basically centered around her friendship with Laura and her beef with Caroline. Apparently, guys, what we think or what we see as a very tight-knit friendship between Toyin and Laura is actually non-existent, and I'm coming to the details of that. And then for Caroline, apparently the beef that we all saw displayed on Twitter between these two women on Saturday, guys, it was more like a spillage of, should I say, the hurt and the pain that both of them had actually caused each other 12 years ago. I'm talking about as far back as I think 2009. I don't know, but according to Toyin, this was 12 years ago. Both of them, they had actually had a serious, intense fallout, and both of them had actually, kissed and made up that time. But it turned out that they both really haven't found closure from what had happened. And so, on the Real Housewives of Lagos, what we are seeing, the tension that we are seeing building up between these two ladies and then eventually erupting on Saturday, it's more like a ticking time bomb that had been ticking for so long, and then finally, in a very, very tensed up environment like the series, they decided to explode, thereby venting out their frustrations, their anger, and all the pent-up emotions that they had been holding back for the past 12 years. Now, Toyin had been asked the real reason. She had asked Caroline what caused the breakup of a marriage, when they had gone on that Abuja trip, that Choma's Abuja trip.
If you accuse me of ruining your marriage and we are over it, so now it's been 12 years, Auntie, for me, 12 years.
Yes.
It's been 12 years. Why bring that conversation to that gathering again, and you are telling your friends and your friends are telling my friends till it got to my ear?
The reason was that 12 years ago, Caroline had accused her of being responsible for breaking up her marriage. And then on that very day, before she got to the airport, she had actually heard gist, from some of her friends in her circle that, Caroline had recently told people that Toyin was actually responsible for breaking up her marriage. So by the time she had gotten to the airport, she was very, very upset. Like, she was very, very pissed with Caroline, and that was why she had started attacking Caroline right from the airport. And even when they were playing that game of truth or dare, in Abuja, she had gone ahead to ask Caroline directly, that particular question, because she wanted Caroline to answer in front of everybody, that whatever Caroline had the guts to say behind her back, she wanted Caroline to also say it in front of her. So the ladies on the interview were like, don't you think, that it was not appropriate, that she didn't really want to talk about it? And Toyin was like, that is who she is. That if you embarrass her in private, she's going to embarrass you in public. Another reason she had also given was that, Caroline had come on the show and was, saying all manner of nasty things about her. That Caroline was also accusing someone else. So why would Caroline accuse someone else after accusing her of being responsible for the breakup of her marriage, 12 years ago? And she had also gone ahead to state that she has a lot of receipts to prove that she and Caroline were actually very, very mutual friends 12 years ago. That as a matter of fact, her ex was actually friends with Caroline's ex-husband. Yes, that they were that close. That most of the things that Caroline had recently said about her, she literally had to even call her ex to start asking him, what happened? Did this happen? Blah, blah, blah. Now, if you're wondering where and at what point Caroline had actually accused someone else of being responsible for the crash of her marriage, refer back to episode 3 of the show, when she had a boho party and Laura had, in her own defense, brought in her sister's name, Linda Ikeji, and Caroline, in a fit of rage, via her own purgation of emotions, had actually said all the horrible things that Linda had written about her on her blog, and also accused Linda of being responsible for the crash of her marriage. So at that point, when Toyin made that statement, guys, I'm very frank with you, I was wondering, like, okay, fine, I understand now why Toyin decided to bring up that, irrelevant question to Caroline. To her, it was very personal. To her, it was very, very relevant. And, because she wanted to get her own pound of flesh, she probably wanted to crawl under Caroline's skin. And it worked, because it kind of triggered Caroline for a bit, but Caroline tended to ignore her, by giving her a clap back that, if Toyin wanted to talk about someone's marriage, Toyin should start from our own current marriage. That was what Caroline had said during her confessionals. Then, guys, I was now wondering, why was Toyin trying to fight Linda Ikeji's battle on the show? Yes, Why was she trying to fight in Ikeji's battle? If Caroline was actually accusing someone else, she had every reason to, because of the things that Linda had actually written about her on the blog. So if she was saying that Linda was one of the people that contributed to the crash of her marriage, I feel like she actually had every right to do so. And to further prove that she and Caroline actually had a very strong and mutual friendship, she had actually gone ahead to state that regardless of all of Caroline's shenanigans, all of Caroline's bad side, that she actually felt sorry for Caroline, as at the time she was still married to her ex, because Caroline went through a lot.
Can I tell you the truth about something here? Please. The same Caroline that is talking here, she's been able to cry on my shoulders severally, and there's some things she would not want to say. I saw that girl go through so many things that I felt sorry for her. She can be silly at times, but put that aside. There are lots of things that women go through in the hands of people that are very rich. This financial abuse is the first issue that most of us have, because we think about it. How am I going to start? Where am I going to pick up from? What's going to happen to my kids? What's going to do this? But it gets to a time we don't want to talk about it, because the person you are dragging with is stronger than you.
Financial abuse, yes, because even though the husband was a billionaire, Caroline was broke. The husband was not really giving her money. She had actually stated all of those on her tweets, yes, on Saturday. So she was saying that Caroline had actually cried to her a lot. She had actually given Caroline shelter, giving Caroline a shoulder to cry on, that even she herself had also faced the same kind of abuse with her ex, who was also a very, very wealthy person, you know, and things like that. They could not voice out about it, because if you talk about it, you just might be arrested. Yes, because those men, they were actually well connected. So for her, she was going to wait for Caroline to come face to face and say all those lies in quotes to her, and then she's going to deal with Caroline by producing receipts to prove that they were actually best of friends, as at the time they were still in good terms. Now, in response to Caroline's claim that the producers could not pay her, yes, that the producers had said that they could not pay her and would rather give her honorarium, yes, for making an appearance on the show, and she had also spent 30 million naira of her own money to fund her wardrobe with a bit of the stipend, whatever, that the producers had actually given to her. Toyin had said that she could not believe any of those things that Caroline had said, that who gave Caroline the money. She said she not even see the 30 million for Caroline, but the guys.
She cannot say that she did not collect anything from them.
I honestly.
I collected money from them. I cannot lie. So I will leave all my businesses, Abby. I will leave all my businesses. I will leave my children. I will go on a show for 3 months, 5 days a week. No time, lose all that money then for nothing, Abby. Them as well are not 30 million naira on top.
Now, when Toyin was saying all of those things, guys, I was just having a good laugh, because, listen, it was very obvious that I think the anger, you know, towards Caroline was kind of blinding Toyin to the reality that, listen, just as she rightly explained.
Let me tell you the truth. Obviously, we are 6 of us. The money for each person is different. If you are bringing this actor now, and you're bringing the other actor, their fees are different.
Each and every one of the ladies might actually have their own contract, which she actually said by her own self. So I was wondering why she was still doubting. And the truth is, guys, we will never know except the producers come out and either agree or refute whatever Caroline said. But then the fact still remains that with reality TV shows like this, yes, the Real Housewives franchise, each of the ladies could have been given a different kind of contract. And according to what Toyin by herself explained on that interview, they were not allowed to discuss how much they were paid.
And we are not even allowed to disclose what they paid me or what they paid her.
Yes, if someone else provides that information, you just go ahead and say, oh, okay, you are not allowed to disclose what you are paid. Because, guys, the reality is different ladies have their own different brand worth, right? So one person might be worth more than another person. So if they are saying, if the producers have said that they could not afford Caroline, guys, it might be true, it might be a lie. And that's why I said Toyin was just not in any position, you know, to say that Caroline was actually lying. But I understand, right? She's still upset. I mean, come on, the whole of Saturday, they had been fighting on Twitter. They had been going back to back at each other, right? Clapping back here and they're being savage and petty and all whatnot. So it was quite understandable that she was also being petty on that interview, you know, and making a mockery of Caroline's claims. Then, still on their contract, Toyin had also stated that in their contract, they were not permitted to grant interviews whilst the show was still going on. That interview Caroline had granted last week or the previous week, exposing some of the tactics of the shows, of the producers, that it was completely against their contracts. But then again, guys, as I stated, we do not really know the content of the contracts that each of these ladies have. Okay, so for now, as I stated before, we're just going to leave it at that and see if the producers are going to take any action or not. If they do not take any action, then it means that, of course, Caroline is at liberty to grant interviews and say whatever she wanted to say. Toyin still stood on her claims that it was because of Caroline that she had actually lost everything 12 years ago. Her relationship with her ex, her businesses, her home. Remember, she had said that in all of those tweets that it was because of the things that Caroline had actually told her ex about her, that she had been beaten thoroughly, black and blue, in front of her daughter, and she had been thrown out of her home, with her daughter. Guys, it's really messy. But most of the details of that is on those tweets, okay? So kindly refer back to the live stream we had on Saturday to check out that video. It's all there in the beginning of that live stream. Now, moving on to her friendship or supposed friendship with Laura, guys. Toyin literally refuted a lot of things, guys. I was shocked.
Laura is not my oldest friend. Mariam is my oldest friend. The kind of friendship I have with Laura. So let me tell everybody now. It's not like me and her go to each other's house every day. I've been to her house once, her husband's birthday or something, or her birthday. Then we talk when she comes for styling, send people to her. So we don't see each other all the time. So when we see her, it's just bubbly. So there's no way I would know this side of Laura.
But then what she was saying was kind of contradictory, to another statement she made. According to her, she had fallen in love with Laura's personality, regardless of the fact that Laura's sister, Linda Ikeji, had written a lot of trashy things about her 9-year-old son. That Linda Ikeji had written a lot of nasty things about her on her blog. She had a lot of, crazy fights, altercations, whatever, with Linda Ikeji. But she had not allowed that sentiment that she nursed, the resentment she nursed for Linda, to filter onto the affections that she had for Laura, because she was in love with Laura's personality. And then she had also gone ahead to reveal that all of this drama, all of this madness that Laura is currently displaying on the show, that she can beat her chest and tell anybody that this is not the real Laura.
And if anybody still asks me, I will still tell you that Laura on this show is not Laura. She's just doing this thing she's doing for drama. So that thing I'm seeing, I don't know, maybe when the show is over, our brain will reset.
Guys, that part really shocked me. And somehow I found it unbelievable. But then I'm not really surprised, because remember, in all my reviews, I'm constantly asking that one question. That is this how Laura is in real life? Because I don't want to believe that any human being will be so difficult to move with and be so problematic. But then she went ahead to state it. She actually said it twice, that Laura is just acting up. That is just like in Big Brother Naija, where, people just want to be mad because Nigerians basically celebrate toxicity. Nigerians basically celebrate madness. They feel like those people who are very, very dramatic and crazy are actually the ones bringing entertainment to the show. And so it's very obvious that it seems as though that is what Laura is aiming for. Laura probably wants to trend, probably wants to be talked about, probably wants to be popular, and that's exactly what is actually happening now. But sadly for Laura, guys, I'm speaking this from my own opinion now, the scale is not really balanced in her favor, because it's like it's a 70 or 80 to 20 situation, right? The statistics, or should I say the percentage of people that are actually, hailing her craziness, her dramaticness, right, is probably just 20% of the viewing audience of the show. And then the other percentage falls to those people who are very, very irritated and probably disgusted at the way she's just overly exhausting to watch. But then aside from all of those things, she had also gone ahead to clear the air because, guys, to be very frank with you, over the weekend, people had actually really dragged Toyin. Yes, people had called her a betrayer. I mean, we had that conversation on Saturday as well, that, oh, Toyin did not really stand up for Laura. She did not have Laura's back. She wasn't really supportive, just exactly the way Laura was attacking her on episode 8, that, oh, you're supposed to be my friend, you're supposed to have my back, blah, blah, blah. We had all talked about all of that. Now, Toyin's reasons for not standing by Laura is number 1, she's not going to support what is wrong. Number 2, Laura had constantly disrespected her on set and off set. And then on that particular day, you know, for her, the last straw that broke the camel's back was that humiliating statement that Laura had actually made at Mariam's dinner that, oh, Toyin, you're doing too much, leave me alone, blah, blah, blah. That was really, really disrespectful. So Laura cannot expect her to, you know, display 100% loyalty when Laura would not respect her and would constantly be rude to her and disrespect her at every given opportunity. For her, she will not condone such. That the only reason, you know, why Laura had escaped her wrath on that day was because she had actually made a promise to Mariam before the dinner that, listen, I am coming to your matrimonial home. I'm not going to cause any drama. So even if I have issues with some of the ladies, I'm going to try as much as possible to be on my best behavior. That was the only reason why she had not really retaliated with drama or even dealt with Laura, you know, when Laura had made that statement. So she had actually made a statement that was going to be the last time ever that she was going to have Laura's back, because Laura had been constantly disrespecting her and humiliating her and being rude to her on set of the show and off set of the show. So it was very, very exhausting to be constantly supportive of Laura. Now, something Toyin actually explained during the interview that really, really caught my interest was when she explained that Laura threw her under the bus right from episode 1 of the show. That Laura made people to start calling her the instigator of the show. That she had actually told Laura, you know, that, oh, this is what Caroline had done to her, blah, blah, blah. That she had also stated that she was coming to the show to promote her brand, her business, right? So it was now left to Laura on whatever she wanted to do with that platform. That she did not expect Laura to come and start fighting Caroline or anybody else, you know. So for her, telling Laura all what she wanted to tell Laura, just like a friend would tell a friend another thing, she was quite surprised when in episode 1, Laura had gone ahead to say, oh, Toyin told me some nasty things about Caroline. That she was asking, like, okay, what nasty things did she tell, you know, Laura about Caroline? So guys, it made me wonder that, okay, come on, Toyin, we know how friends gist, you know, especially when someone has actually offended a friend. It's on very, very rare occasions that we see where a friend will go and tell a friend that, that person upset me, but I'm just going to let it slide. Especially when you want to give details of what that person did to you. Sometimes you add spices to the gist to make it sweet. But again, guys, once again, I would say that I was not there. I don't know whatever was exchanged in terms of information between Toyin and Laura. And also, we also need to consider how, you know, the manner, the tone, and the mood with which such conversation was had. You know, for Laura to come out and say that, oh, Toyin actually told me some nasty things about Caroline, said that she will never talk to Caroline again. Guys, all of those things are there in episode 1 of the show. But then, guys, it still brings me back to one thing I've been constantly saying on my channel with regards to the show. If you have a best friend, right, and you told your best friend, you know, nasty things about someone else that actually offended you, make sure, in fact, you owe it to your friend, you're obliged to explain to that your best friend that, you know, that is when and if you make peace with that person that you had actually blasted. Tell your best friend about it so that when all of you meet in a public setting, guys, it will not be an awkward situation, because that was what it was for Laura in episode 1. But then Toyin also went ahead to explain something quite interesting. She said that they did not know that they were all going to be together on the show, because they had made them sign the contract separately without revealing the names of the other cast members. She had almost not signed her own contract because she wanted to know who was going to be on the show with her, but then the organizers had refused to tell her, so she had gone ahead to sign the contract. But then later in that same statement, she actually stated that she knew that Caroline was coming, she knew that Chioma was going to be at her child's event, but then she did not know that any other person was going to be there. Guys, I'm sorry to say, but there were some things that Toyin was saying on the interview. They were very, very contradictory to most of the things that she was saying. Other misconceptions that Toyin had also refuted during the interview was that it wasn't like she had actually joined or ganged up with Iyabo and the other ladies to chastise Laura, on episode 8. That for her, the meeting wasn't even called to address the messages that she had actually sent to Chioma and Caroline. No, that Iyabo was actually directly, addressing Laura's general rudeness and disrespect to every single person. She had been rude and disrespectful at Caroline's boho party, at Mariam's dinner, right? So they were actually addressing all of those things. And then she herself was also using the opportunity to also address Laura as well, because Laura had been directly rude and disrespectful to her, humiliating her, with that statement that she had made. So it wasn't like, she was throwing her friend under the bus or even ganging up against her friend Laura, right? And then she had also gone ahead to state that for Laura's fashion show, she was the one that gave Laura the idea that Iyabo and the daughter should walk the runway, for a mommy-daughter walk. That she herself wanted to walk the runway for Laura. She had even suggested to Laura that all the housewives should walk the runway. Laura was saying no. She was very, very hesitant. But then by the time Laura had told her that she was doing a collaboration with her best friend, Aisha, she had stepped back because she herself is also a brand. So there was no point, her using her own brand to promote another brand. But she had ensured to give Laura all the support that she could give. But then, guys, there were other things that she was now saying that, she was not the one that badmouthed Laura's fashion sense, because she has stated that, that is Laura's style, Laura likes simplicity, and that is who Laura is, that it was actually Caroline and Chioma that were badmouthing Laura's business. I'm like, Queen, we understand if you have your grievances, your beef with Caroline, but can you just stop? Can you just stop, with the Caroline this, Caroline that? Because, guys, obviously we saw it. Caroline never badmouthed Laura's fashion line. As a matter of fact, she said she was proud of Laura. She said that she was going to support Laura, because it's not easy to do your own kind of thing like that. The only time that she had actually fired back at Laura's fashion line was when Laura started sending those messages to her on WhatsApp. That's on episode 7. That was when, just to score her own cheap points, she had actually made that statement that, is that what we went to spend 6 hours watching? Guys, please, let's get the facts right. I mean, frankly speaking, guys, I really did appreciate the fact that Toyin had used that opportunity to share our own narrative about what's going on, at least to give us more perspective on why she does some of the things that she does towards Caroline on the show, right? But towards Chioma, guys, I still do not understand. She did not give any valid reason why she constantly throws shades at Chioma, guys, and I'm waiting for her to take out time to do so, right? But in the midst of all the, explanations she gave, what I still did not agree with were some of the statements that she was making. Some of the things that she was actually saying that she wanted the audience on that platform to accept as truths were obviously assumptions on her own part. For instance, she has no idea the contents, the details of Caroline's contract, right? She only has knowledge of the details of our own contract. So how could she categorically call out Caroline for lying that, Caroline cannot say she did not receive money from them? I mean, is it that she's not really aware that there are agreements like that people are not necessarily paid, but there's something called barter, right? You are not paid monetarily, but you'll be paid in other ways. Is it that Toyin, who calls herself an entrepreneur, is not really aware of such kind of arrangements, guys? Because I'm lost at this point. That is one. And also saying that, Caroline said that she wanted her to be flying her in private jets only.
She said they must always be flying her everywhere with private jets.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yes,
Well,
now if she wanted
you know
why
what?
she not go meet her ex-husband, me give her private jet.
We're not talking about the ex-husband here.
And I'm wondering, like, well, every woman, everybody has a right to value themselves, and place a price on their head. If Caroline wants to be treated like a queen, like a president, then that is her own price tag. Toyin should as well create her own price tag. The way she made that statement, guys, it made it sound like she was just so jealous. And I was wondering, like, come on, Toyin, get a grip on yourself. You're also a queen in your own kingdom. Allow Caroline to also reign as a queen in her own kingdom. If she wanted the producers of the show to fly her around only in private jets, then so be it. You go ahead and name your price, because of course, every human has her price. That is another one. The other one, again, she's saying that, she and Laura were not really friends the way people thought that they were friends. And then later, she was now saying that, she actually fell in love with Laura's personality and stayed true to Laura and never transferred the aggression she had for Laura's sister to Laura. It was so contradictory to me. How do you go ahead spilling details of your fallout with Caroline to someone that you do not really consider as a very, very mutual friend like that? I mean, it only makes you a gossip. If Laura is not really your friend as you are close to Mariam, why did you see it or deem it necessary to go and start spilling the details of all that happened 12 years ago between you and Caroline to Laura? So guys, for me, it does not really add up, guys. I'm sorry to say it does not really add up. And this is not me, once again, attacking Toyin, guys. This is just me stating the very obvious. Toyin needs to actually give a clear definition of who Laura truly is to her. Friend or foe, friend or client, period. And so this is what I resolved to do. I'm just going to wait for the rest of the episodes to air so that I can watch for myself and deduce what I want to deduce, because these interviews that are flying left, right, and center, guys, all I just perceive are these ladies, trying to water the ground, for their faves to actually support them and have their back whenever they do any nonsense thing on the show. Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, I am not swayed. I'm not going to be blindsided. I'm not going to be myopic to the realities of the show. So I'm just going to wait it out and watch the show. But hey, I know that those of you watching this video right now, you have a whole lot that you would love to share with me about your own opinion, your thoughts. So please just go ahead and share all of that in the comment section below. And hey, thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys on another episode of Frankly Speaking with Elijah. Do have an amazing new week. Bye.